Hey there, YouTubes. This is Grimweird coming back at you with more MC Eternal mod pack playthrough action for Minecraft 1.12.2. So since last time, I have what have I done? So one thing I did was Horologium is one of the constellations for astral sorcery that only comes up every 30 game days. It's the night after an eclipse. And so I did finally catch that one. And Horologium makes a ritual that speeds up ticks for, tick acceleration for things. So I figured I'd go ahead and make while it was that night, because if you miss it, which I will often do, you can wait a long time to get another one. So I went ahead and made a tuned to Horologium one in case I decide to do that ritual. So I've got a Lucerna one. This will be for making my observatory when I get around to it. This guy. And then also possibly for a repel monsters one. And then this will be just for a tick acceleration one if I decide to do that. And that reminds me, I don't know if I have another one for Mineralis because I'm going to want one of those. Yeah, I should work on this guy. I'll do that later. Take it out to remind me. Okay, so what else? I made a Corail tombstone. So what this does is you can use an Ankh near it to gain Corail tombstone experience. You can also teleport to these, so there's lots of little gimmicks that you can use with these. Unfortunately, I sort of need to get my mob farm up and going to get more graves dust or grave dust, whatever it is, before we can really take off with that. Also, you'll see I went ahead and put a celestial observatory or celestial gateway here. You can see it's lit up here. This is not the most efficient mode of teleportation. There are definitely tons of teleportation options in these big mod packs, like an Enderbook would be considerably better. But and I could make one pretty easily. But I sort of just wanted to make one of these just for fun. So if we take a look, I have created a mob farm over there on that hill. And it only takes me a few minutes to fly over there. But I figured you can sort of see up on top of that part of the building, I've put another celestial gateway. And again, this is mostly just for fun. It's not at all efficient. But how this works is when you come and stand on it, it creates an artificial sky dome or star dome around you. And all of your celestial gateways will appear here as yellow stars, like that one. And if you mouse over it, it says Mob Farm. And now if I hold down Shift, I teleport to it. And so there, I've crossed over to here. Again, not the most efficient way to travel. There are easier things, especially like an Enderbook or Osglow tools or what have you. But it's just sort of fun, and it doesn't cost too much, so may as well do it. So here's my mob farm. I got an elevator down into it. I've got some drawers set up. I haven't started it up yet, so we're going to fire it up in this video. There's my mob masher. I got dark clear glass from Ender.io here, so that shouldn't let light in, but it'll allow me to see what's going on here in the business area. As we saw in last episode, I've got the fans all set up the way we talked about in the last one. So if we come out here, I did some landscaping here, made a little rail here. So as we mentioned in the last one, we've got 2 extra height and 3 extra width on each of these and 4 extra strength to arrive at this area. So those 2 fans will push everything up against this wall. And then this fan, turn on off these. And then once everything gets shoved up against this wall, this fan will shove everything over to here. And for any flying stuff or spiders, the fan in the ceiling, I'll turn that off. This has 2 up and down, but no side to side, but an extra 9 out of 10 strength to push it all the way down to 14. The max width you can go on these bad boys is 7, so you have to use 2 fans to get 9. And so I figured, hell, if I have to have 2 fans, I might as well make it 14. So that'll blow it all down here, and then if we show the area on this bad boy, you can see that it pushes it down onto the Mob Masher. So everything gets pushed into this corner. And I went ahead and made 10 sharpness upgrades, 10 looting upgrades, and 10 beheading upgrades, because that's the way I roll. I did not do fire or Bane, Undead Bane, or Smite, I guess it's called, and Bane of Arthropods, or in other words, spider killing. I don't think I'm going to need it. I do not have a Drop of Evil yet, so I was all excited because I thought that I would have one, but it turns out, where is that? It turns out that you don't get it as a reward until you... Which chapter is it in? All right, let's look at it this way. Drop of Evil. So you don't get the Mob Masher reward of a Drop of Evil, which is what I want, until you... Alright, so it should be here. Here it is. Mob Masher. Unfortunately, I need to unlock this quest, which means I need a Witherbone and a Raw Rat. So hopefully once I get this mob farm up and going, I will get those 2 things. And then once I have that done, I will have to pick up one of my fans, and then I'll have that done, and then I can pick up that stuff and this stuff and get the Drop of Evil and convert all this grass into Cursed Earth. But for right now, I think we are good to go. So let's go ahead and make it dark and see what happens. So you can see we got darkness. That dark glass is doing the job. There's some artifact light there, but no real light. Now let's go ahead and do that. And then we're going to want to turn the fans on. So on, 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 on. And then I also made one of the mob grinding utilities Ender inhibitor active, or sorry, Ender inhibitors to prevent teleportation. This has an 8-block radius, so it should cover the entire mob farm. And so now we can go downstairs and see what's happening. So everything looks nice and dark in there. That's good. We're not going to have a ton of activity until I get more than 16 away from all of this. But let's also take a look at... So we looked at the Mob Masher. It's going to do its thing. If we take a look here, we've got an absorption hopper that is pushed as far as I can this way. And then it's mostly as far into this corner as I can. And what that is like 7 blocks this way, as you can sort of see here, and then 6 blocks that way because I can't push it through the wall, and then all the way to the ceiling. So if any loot sprays more than 6 or 7 blocks away from this, it's not going to get picked up. But I think the fan will blow loot. I'm not sure. I should have tested that. I will test that the next time I have a fan out. So we're going to hide that. Right now, so it's going to pull everything into here. I've got it shipping items down for now. And here's a couple of the torches that I broke. And then eventually, once I figure out what I'm going to do and populate these drawers, we will shift things out this way. Now you may wonder why I have it split into 3 different tubes. Actually, I might rearrange this. So there's 2 possible things that could happen here. One, I can create so much stuff. Oh, and I forgot to put my spawners in there. Let's go do that. Now I haven't put in a light system. Whoa, it is dark. I haven't put in a light system, so that's the one thing I haven't done yet, because I'm not 100% sure how much lighting I'll need for coverage, and I didn't feel like dealing with it quite yet. So let's sleep, and I can always create light by just breaking stuff in the roof. So let's do that. Alright, so let's go ahead and break a few things to make some light down here. And then I'm going to need to turn. I also haven't put in an automatic remote control that will turn off all the fans at once. So we'll just do those 2 fans and make an entrance here. So what I forgot to do was put my spawners in here. So roughly, now I forget which of these is which, so I might have to. Okay, so Enderman, we're going to put Enderman there. Hello, Enderman. And then we're going to put Blaze on top of it. And then we're going to run away. And then we're going to go turn the fans on and hope that hilarity ensues. Oops, I missed my door. There's my door. Oh, and then we need to, it's working on the blaze. And then before any blazes come out of the ceiling, we need to close this up. Alright, now we got some darkness. Oh, and it helps if you turn on the mob masher. It helps if you remember to put a lever for the mob masher. Let's see, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4 past the window. Sorry about the noise. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. There we go. Let's go ahead into options. Oops, let's go ahead into options and take sounds and hostile creatures. Let's take that down to next to nothing for a moment. Alright, so now we've got that on. Oops, I can remove this. I was wondering, I was trying to decide if I wanted to have things on this corner or the other corner, and I changed my mind. But yeah, here we go. So we'll give this a minute to mash. Hey, look, we got stuff. Alright, so I was afraid of that. So this is going to come out real slow. So that's why I went with the Ender IO tubes, because you can speed them up. Wow, look at all those books. That's a lot of books. Okay, we're definitely going to need a spot for ender pearls, a prominent spot for ender pearls. We're definitely going to need a prominent spot for blaze rods. May as well make a prominent spot for that. And what else? So these aren't going to stack. Wow, I desperately need to, this is going to be a complete nightmare to organize. And we're almost out of space. So let's go ahead and buy ourselves a little time there. Yes, I'm definitely probably going to have to find a way to disable this bad boy, mostly because if it overwhelms my system here, things are going to turn into a lag fest from all these stuff lying on the ground. Oops, that ain't what I wanted to do. So right now I'm still just going to try and get used to what all we have in here, what all I want to keep. And what all I need to do for storage. So I'm going to go ahead and pause this now, and I'm going to let this run a while. And the fun is just starting. We're going to have overflow into trash, which I'm prepared for. We're going to fill up a lot of these, and I got room for a lot more. Going to need to make expansion slots for these, because these are going to add up real quick. We're already at 6 of 64 stacks for solidified experience, so I might make a separate drum for that. Yeah, good stuff. I did go ahead and make a slice and dice, which allows me to make these, so I can make some of those up. I do not have shulker stuff yet, so I can't do that one, unfortunately, but I can do this one. This one lets you have something like 27 items or something, I forget what. So we'll be able to send some stuff to specialty crates or barrels, and send some stuff to trash. So we will be able to get this organized after a bit. We'll also go ahead and bring my keys over here, and I want to put quantity on here, and then also lock them once I have stuff that I know I want to keep going in. And we are already filled. Stack limit is 8. Yes, we are already filled up on the on these guys. I guess we'll double it up for now. We're not getting too horrible much variety though, not from these. Now when I walk away, things are going to get ugly. I think for now I'm just going to grab these bags. Once this has been going for a while, I'll be able to figure out if there's enough good stuff in these bags for me to care, and if not, I will go ahead and trash them since they are not stackable. Alright, so I think for now, let me grab all these books, take them with me. At this rate, I'll probably quickly have copies of all the books, or, you know, at least all the common books, so I'll be able to hopefully trash those. Alright, let's zoom over here. Okay, that's sort of cool. One reason I do that is because I used to use Brown Magic a lot, which is the Tinker's Tool thing that's on Osgilglass and some of the other advanced materials that allow you to set teleport points for tools. And then I would teleport around. But that I think that anything that blocks Ender teleportation also blocks Brown Magic, if I recall correctly. So that's another reason I wanted to have a different thing there. And the book, the Ender book, does require experience. So, you know, there are reasons to possibly go ahead and do something like the Celestial Gateway, even though it's sort of silly. I say silly. I think it's actually pretty cool. It's just that there are other sort of more obvious ways to go about doing teleportation. Okay, so these are food bags. Oh yeah, I'm getting food that I do not have, so I do want to keep those. Probably don't need to do those bags. Let's see. Empty. Oh, those are my empty sacks of holding from my spawners. We can put those up there. Now I do have room. I can stack more spawners in there too, since I don't have Cursed Earth yet. For now, I'm going to throw food up here because I want to eat some of it. That I'm going to have a drawer of old quiver. I don't think I'm going to want these, since I have an infinity bow and I'm not much of a specialty arrow user. Yeah, I think we're going to trash. Don't even know what that does. I don't really play with those kinds of arrows much. We'll save those in case we need some for crafting something. Book bag. Tombstone Soulbound. So those would be scrolls. I'm not familiar enough with those to have a strong opinion on whether I'm going to want those or not. I think I do have some of these. Oh, it's in my magic drawer. Magic bag. Magic powder. Don't know what that is. Splash potion of strength. That's quickly going to overwhelm my overwhelm my system. So for now, we'll hold on to it, but I think those are going to have to go away. A record bag. It's another thing that's going to overwhelm things. All right. Let's get back there and see if things are piling up on the floor. Oh, I was far enough away. Good. That is probably for the best. See, what are the uses on these? What are the uses on those? Not sure what a heart jar does. Is it some sort of healing potion, possibly? All right, well, I'm going to pause here. Things are moving along, so that's good. Look at them die. I think I'm going to lock my drawers and start filling them up. I'm also going to spend some time within range, close enough that things will spawn, but far enough away that things will spawn. See if I can get some interesting stuff to spawn, like withers and Pied Pipers and what have you. Again, just to sort of get a feel for what we might be picking up here. And I will be back in a bit when I have this more straightened out. Whoa! What was that? Resistance 01. Did something shoot me through a wall or something? I think something might have clipped me through a wall. Is there something out there? Not anymore. There's whatever that is running around. There's something that's white. What are you? Some sort of scarecrow guy. Get some. Boy, he has a bit of health, don't he? Well played, sir. Well played. Alright, anyway. Don't stand too close to a corner wall. Got it. Let's see. If I go get my home key, if I go get my key and turn on this suction, it will only suck and place things that have a spot that isn't locked. So that'll start sucking that stuff out. And I'll go ahead and make a storage expansion for that, because I'm going to want tons of blaze rods and ender pearls. And the other thing we can go check on is my tank. So supposedly I'm getting experience for this too. I've got an ender tank. I haven't really talked about this, but I got an ender tank set up here. Let's go take a look at the other side of that. Sorry, it feels like that should have a sound effect, doesn't it? And we are not picking up any liquids. So in theory, what's going to happen is I'm going to pick up experience and drain it into here, and it's going to go preferentially into this tank with a faucet so that I can drop experience on myself, and any spillover is going to go in a nice big reinforced drum. But that ain't doing it. So I got to see what's up with that. So we got fluid going up. Oh, but it's not auto-extracting. Let me see if I can make my tank auto-extract. I think there's a way to do that, maybe with this. Oops. Maybe I just spin the dial. Come on. Suck it on up. You know you want to. All right, we've got no suction. We can fix that. I went ahead and made some inner fluid ducts for just such an occasion. We're going to extract always on. We're going to insert. The tank is now empty. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. So you're going into there with a priority 10, but you ain't full yet. You're going into there with a priority 0. Why you got 9,400 there? We don't know. We'll keep an eye on this. I like the little XP label on the top of the faucet, little green label. But I wanted to put it up so I could watch it go. Cool. Put that in my book so I don't lose it. And all right, I keep saying that I'm going to pause and do some stuff off camera, and I think the point is now. You guys have seen the gist of it. You guys see what I'm aiming for here. We just got to make sure that everything's working fine, and we got to get some inventory sorting and trashing and spillover handled, and then we're good to go. And then as soon as I can get a rat meat and a wither bone, we'll get a drop of evil and we'll turn that cursed earth, and then the stuff will really start flowing. It's probably sort of good I couldn't jump straight into cursed earth because I'd be overwhelmed by all the drops. I think I'm a long way from more hearts. There's a pretty big jump for the next one. Yeah, 140 more to increase my max health. All right, I'm going to pause here and we'll be back in a bit. All right, so things are slightly under control, at least for these two spawners. Until I get cursed earth and until I let things just spawn in here naturally. I've pretty much got all the drops taken care of the way I want them for the most part. So what I've done is I've changed the routing around a bit here We're not going to do that anymore. So coming out of this absorption hopper seems to be fast enough for now. So I'm just letting it dump into sort of a bigger buffer crate. And then I'm pulling out of there. I have added a whitelist to the trash can. So I'm trashing Hearts Infinity Booster cards because I've already got several, and I think I will ever probably only need one. And I kept a few of the Enderman trophies and Blaze trophies, and I'm trashing any extras and old quivers because I'm not really up on arrows. I prefer to use just Infinity and going with it. So we're going to expand that as soon as I get around to making a bigger item filter. This box has spell books. So Electrobob's Wizardry. What I'm doing here is I have whitelisted for this box the mod EB Wizardry. So what I did was I just took some things in here. I made one of these bad boys, mod item filter, and then opened this up and clicked here with a item from the mod, and it filled in Wizardry. So if we put this here, 6 magic missiles, throw them in there, and they go back up there. So that's going to be a good way to handle the spell books because I do want those. I took a look at Electro spell books, and there are many. So I don't think this is quite big enough to handle everything. But we shall see. And I can always upgrade this once I make upgrade this or just add a second one to it. Might have to adjust where I have boxes and whatnot, but I can always split this off into 2 crates with that mod item filter. So there, I've expanded this with 2 emeralds, so that'll hold me for a while. It now has a 512 stack limit. And so the one that's stacking up the most is this guy's only 50 stacks of 64 for the solidified experience. And then we got some Inferium, some heads, the bags. The bags are stacking in here, so that's good. I'm going to keep the book, magic, and intestines, and the tool, ore, lumber, and record. I'm trashing the quivers, and I haven't decided yet on the potions. So I got 3 potions over here, and here's another one. Food bag. Do I not have food bag over here? I will keep food bags, so let's go ahead and put that there to see if we can get another, more variety of food. And then dim parcels. I would actually like to maybe make a Rift dimension or a RF Tools dimension, so I'm saving those from my Enderman drops too. So there, we pretty much have things sorted. Again, the only thing I haven't really decided on is the potion bags, and I'm going to just let some accumulate in this here, and once I have 4 or 5 of them, I'll open a bunch of them and decide if I want the contents or not. I'm not a huge potion fan, but I'm not sure what all is going to come out of it. I could see if there's a list. Let's see, uses. No, it doesn't really tell you what's in them. So we'll just reserve judgment on there. Definitely the mod filter, this guy here, mod item filter, which is made from a Yeta wrench and 3 electrical steel. That's going to be a savior for my Electrobob's books, which I do want to get that moving here soon, so I'm eager to get these books. So that's cool. So we got some advanced, some apprentice, and some novice. Got 1 master, which I think actually came out of a chest. I moved my ones from the base over to this box too. So these didn't all come from the drops in this thing here. They're not dropping that fast. But yeah, things seem to be going good. Now I can throw more spawners in there, but I think I might actually have to do some hunting. I need to find a rat and a wither so that I can complete that one quest and open up and get my free drop of evil. So let's see. I haven't really done much hunting at night. I still am not super happy with my weapons, but they're pretty good. It's just some of the bosses that give me trouble now, and some of the ice and fire stuff. Let's see, what was I going to get out? Oh, I was going to get this out. May as well fly around a bit, see if we can spot any wither skeletons and or rats. I'm not sure I would know a rat if I saw one. Rocket creeper or some other type of creeper. I hate those little lizards. They steal stuff from you. Hey, look, a rift. Not 100% sure that the withers spawn. Is that? Oh, that's a vampire, I think. So husk and some spiders. Some of those. Whoa! Something's shooting at me. Oh gosh, what's that? Run away. I am not properly geared for aerial combat. All right. Well, that was unsuccessful. Problem with using the glider instead of like a something else is that if you take it out of your hand to equip a ranged weapon or a weapon, then you plummet. Alright, so that wasn't too successful. Might have to do that on foot so I can actually shoot things. Now one thing, aha, a Pied Piper. Nice. So I must have, for at least a little bit, hey, there's the raw rat I need. So at least for a little bit, I must have been far enough away to let things spawn in the dark, but close enough that they would still spawn in the dark. I might just need to go camp out and let that happen a bit and see if I can get a wither bone. Because I certainly haven't seen a wither. But I got my raw rat, so that's good. And I got instrumental mobs. What are these used for? Anything? I don't know what those do. You can make them unbreakable, so that's cool. And mending. But I don't know what they do. But that's another case where, if I decide I can make a trash can and trash all instrumental mob stuff if I need to. Rats. Wild rats will no longer fear you when worn. Oh, well, that's handy. I'm going to hold on to that. At some point, I will want to tame some rats and make some rats into my servants. Got some more heads. That's good. I know I'm going to want those, so I can add those to the shelving unit. Put those up in the head box. Something drops lapis. I'll take those all day. Gunpowder. Bones, yes please. Gold nuggets, okay. Mysterious token fragment. I think I need those, but I'm going to wait a bit. So bones is something I'm going to want a lot of, so we'll put that there. Gunpowder. I think I'll put that over by the sulfur, since that's also part of the something you can use for explosives. Oh, more books. Don't know what that is. That I can throw on the floor and let my Danknell pick up. Rat pelts, what are they used for? Leather. Sure, I'll keep those. Put those there. Gems. Put those there. See, what else do we got? Sorry, I'm getting sleepy, so I'm sort of zoning out here a bit. I think I'll call it a night here soon. Maybe go watch TV for a bit and let this run. I think I'll go find a sweet spot where I am close enough for things to spawn from darkness, but not so close that I keep them from spawning. So I think I need to be farther away than 16 blocks, but closer away than, a chunk or two. So we'll go hit that up. Feathers, I probably don't need. We'll think on those. See, how far is this? 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, I'm going to have to get a little ways away. I wonder if my base is too far away. It probably is. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Can't remember what the rule is. So I have that chunk loaded. So in theory they'll keep going, maybe. But if they're spawners, not well, for darkness, I think it'll go, but I think you need to stay within your, is it your render distance? Anyway, I'm going to just stand here for a bit, or maybe it would be better to stand downstairs. How's this coming along? 22 buckets and 17 buckets. That'll work. So I'm going to stand here for a while and see if I'm close enough, and then we will come back with a wrap up. I'm probably just going to do the wrap up tomorrow. So we'll see what happens. And if I can pick up a wither skeleton, I might have to make another portal and see if we can go get one. The nether portal might be a little tough on this mod pack. I'm not sure. Haven't been yet. If so, we can always just run screaming through it like a squid on the wing and grab a wither skeleton with a spawner or with a golden lasso, and then bring it back and kill it at our leisure. Alright, so I'm going to pause here, and if I have more runtime, I will be back, and we'll do some sort of wrap-up on this whole experiment. Be back in a bit. Okay, just a quick note. I made myself a little duck blind, a little safe spot to just sit in while I wander off and watch a little TV. And I'm a little over 2.5 chunks away. And so things are spawning over here. Every once in a while I see a little flash of red and they zoom straight to this corner where the mob thing is and disappear. But you'll notice there was one guy stuck right in there. So I do have guys that are spawning right next to the spawner. So I have an Enderman and a Blaze spawner stacked right on top of each other where that gray thing is. And if they spawn right here, the wind pushes them straight at it. And sometimes they just stand there until they despawn. So, in an ideal situation, I could always put another fan, over here just to blow them off of the, so nothing gets stuck on the spawners. And I probably won't bother doing that now, but if I decide to put more spawners in there, so for instance, if I find a wither spawner, I would go ahead and put that in there, and I might put that next to it, and suddenly I've got like a little, a little brick of an area there that's a trouble spot, so I can make another fan to push things off of anything that sticks to the spawners. But anyway, I'm going to let this run for an hour or two and go see what all the things I got. You can see something went over there. So something's spawning every once in a while. There's no cursed earth yet, so it's sort of slow. But things are spawning every once in a while and moving over there. So I'm just going to let this run while I watch a little TV, and then as a nightcap, I'll see what I got going on, and I'll report out tomorrow. Be right back. Alright, I'm trying to get my observatory done. So here's an example of the high-level crafting. You have to have an attuned celestial crystal. So if we take a look at the recipe, this little yellow symbol here means it needs to be attuned to that constellation. So I've got an attuned Lucerna crystal there. Lucerna is up in the sky up there. We've got all the stuff in there, and then this part of the recipe, these little ones that are sort of outside the crafting grid are extra components that you have to put over in little spectral relays around and about. So we're going to go ahead and fill those up. And there's no rhyme or reason or order to these. So you just make a bank of these and fill whatever shadow one comes up. And now if I don't run out of starlight, if the dawn doesn't approach, took me a minute to realize Lucerna was up and that I wanted to get this done. So those are all filled. This is going. And hey, there's my observatory. So now we're going to go place this bad boy. It's sort of a big, I think it's like a 3x3 structure. There we go. And so this one, instead of having panes that you click through, you sort of have to scan through like this and look for stuff. So now I can get all the dawn is coming, so it's fading to daylight. But now I can escape to get the view back and then tap shift to get out of the chair. And there. Now I can get the rest of my my faint constellations. And I'm going to pause here. I'm still in the middle of getting all of my drawers organized, but I'm going to pause here and we'll be back and we'll wrap up the episode with the adjustments I've made to my Monster Farm storage. Be right back. And welcome back. So much has been accomplished over the last few hours. So I think I already showed this, but as you can see, my experience drops being picked up by the absorption hopper and being turned into liquid experience by the hopper to go into a ender tank is working good. So this is now full. We've got 113 buckets of liquid experience here. This thing holds another 32 buckets. So we got a lot of experience. If I turn this on, let's see. Yeah, we got experience for days. Turn that off. Gonna load some of this into my book just so that I have some more on hand. So I can carry experience around with me as needed. So this is working good. We got lots of experience. Let's run over to the mob farm and see what we got going on. I don't think there's too much new up here in the last few hours. Head over to the mob farm. Elevator down into it. So things are going good over here. The solidified experience drops have been epic from this Enderman and Blaze spawner farm that I've got going so far. I got up to 18,000 of them. They're just dropping like crazy. And so what I had to do was I had to find out, I wasn't going to collect them all, but I didn't want to let it go to waste either. So when I got up to like over 200 stacks, I think I had like close to 300 stacks of it. I figured I'd go ahead and suck things out. So I made some trim just to extend myself to the corner here. I'll probably end up eventually, if I need to, putting another column of drawers here and maybe even another row across the top. But for now, I just have some trim across here because it's what I had handy with me in here. I made a slave controller just to give me another access point because I already have tubes going into this guy that I'm thinking about using for other things. So what I've got going on here is I'm pumping out, I'm extracting with a basic item filter, solidified experience into my Ender IO fluid tank. This is the same kind of tank that I'm using to moisturize my concrete powder. So in that case, we're basically filling buckets. And in this case, we are actually unsolidifying them. So you can put things that can turn into liquids in here, and if they don't require power, they'll just turn into liquids. If I were to put buckets in here, it'll go down, and I can like make buckets of it. Um, so basically, you can do that, or you can put full buckets up here, and a full bucket will empty into the tank, and an empty bucket will come down. So that's basically the way to explain how this is working in the fluid tank. Is these solidified experience are acting like buckets of experience. So these buckets of experience are then dumping into the tank, and then the tank is pumping out into a demonically gargantuan drum, and I am up to 2.2800 buckets, 2.8 million millibuckets of experience, or liquid experience, which can also be liquid knowledge. Um, and probably what we'll end up doing is, I think you can use this, I'm pretty sure you can use this to power your mob duplicator. So we'll probably make an industrial foregoing mob duplicator at some point, and we'll use this big old barrel to pump out a bunch of mobs. So that's good. So that I was up to like I said, maybe 18, almost 19,000 pieces of solidified experience, and it was getting a little ridiculous. So now we've put it into a much more manageable storage and much more useful, because we can pump this into a mob duplicator or any of the other things that use liquid of knowledge or liquid experience to power them. Like some of the enchanting options use that as well. And then over here, what I've got going on, so here's the other end of my liquid experience, just from the liquid balls that drop from these guys. Those are collected into here. Fluid is going up, and that's just going up into this inner tank, which is back filling up the faucet tank and whatnot from the base. This is why I have walls here, is because you can hear those stupid guys, those Mousies, mobs, little witch doctor guys. They spawn like crazy here. So I made a couple of the big item filters. Big item filter from Ender.io. And it's just the normal stuff, and I've added a bunch of things to it. Those animated weapons drop lots of weapons. Fortunately, the big item filter will ignore damage changes, so you can make it match metadata or not, and I think that changes how you do things here, but basically I want to use it like I'm using it. So basically all wooden axes, no matter what their durability, you can see I set this with a durability of 58 out of 59 axe, but basically any wooden axe will go whitelisted into the trash can. So we got armor, lots of armor and weapons going in there. Vampire blood, that doesn't stack, so it's a pain in the ass. Some of the dungeon tactics weapons are here. And then I made a second one and put a second one in here. You can actually interface with the trash can through all four sides and the bottom, just not the top. So if you're doing this and you want to whitelist a lot of trash, you can put this out in space and then come at it with a lot of item filters. So I've got some more armor and shields and whatnot here. And I'm sure once I get Cursed Earth here and I'm spawning even more monsters and getting rarer stuff, that whitelist is going to fill up, and I might even have to reorganize things to move the trash can out into this column and come at it from multiple directions to expand the whitelist for the trash. And then I've made a new box up here, and this one is filtered for mod item filter, and this one is allowing mechanism tools. And so what we've got here is that something is dropping. I had more of these, but I accidentally trashed a bunch of stuff when I was hooking up my trash can. But what we're making here are the obsidian chest plates and glowstone chest plates and lapis chest plates from Mechanism, and the Paxels, which are those combo tools. The reason I'm holding on to them is Mechanism is sort of gated, so I can't really make refined obsidian, but I can get access to it by repairing and smelting stuff. So for instance here, if I repair the obsidian chest plate with my powered anvil and then smelt it, I will get 8 ingots of molten refined obsidian that I can pour out, assuming I have liquid hot enough to do it. I'm not sure normal lava will do it, but it probably will. So that's why I'm keeping those, so that I can repair them with the powered anvil and then smelt them down for refined glowstone ingots and refined obsidian ingots, and also lapis. What do these do? I just sort of am keeping everything here, but okay, you cannot do these. Oh, you can repair it with experience. Well, that's interesting. Yet another thing to like about the fluid tank. I did not realize that. That's cool. I wonder if there's other stuff you can do that with. Wow, that is pretty epic. Takes 6 buckets to do that, but you know, hey. Oh, that's if it has mending on it, maybe. Okay, that's if it has mending on it. All right. I thought that was a little weird, but it makes perfect sense if it has mending on it. All right, so we've got those going in there, so mostly so I can get refined obsidian Mechanism metal, in case it takes me a while to get Mechanism. And then this one is the last thing that I've got set up for mod item filters. And again, I've got that. And the way you do these is you just click anything from the mod in here, and it'll fill in the name for you, and the item doesn't really matter. So that's how you set this up. And so all of these books, these are literally all different books. They stack if they're the same, although they only stack to 16. So I'm now up to 2 stacks of magic missiles, so I can destroy that. And I can destroy that. Just going to take some of these out of here that I've maxed out, the stacks. Alright, that helps a little. Let's get rid of anything that has over 16. I think you only need 1 copy of any of these ever. But I don't want to accidentally do anything weird. So I want to save myself. Okay, there. So I'll come in here and just clean house every once in a while to help this out. And we will trash all that. One thing that's sort of disappointing is that you get so many spell books that I am just trashing all enchanted books. So the way I've got this set where it ignores durability data, it also ignores what kind of enchanted book it is. So basically I'm trash canning all enchanted books, but they just drop so fast that I would have ended up with a crate like this or worse, full of enchanted books, and 95% of the enchanted books I'm not going to want. So there are other ways to get enchantments, including the enchanting table from Astral Sorcery that lets you make some cool stuff. And well, I've made like an Ender IO enchantment thing. So we got plenty of ways to make most enchantments. Let's see, what else? I need to cough. Hold on a moment. So I guess the only other thing I want to mention real quick is that while I was doing this, a Pied Piper did spawn. So I put on one of his hats and I ran out there. I had gold end string here, of course, because I've got spider and gold drops. So I quickly made some golden lassos, and I shot him from the roof to kill him. And once he was dead, the rats were not afraid of me, so they didn't run away. They all just started wandering in different directions. But I quickly jumped down here. I had like one or two of these and captured, I think I had one. I captured one rat. I made two more, and I chased down a couple of the wandering rats. So we now have rats to train. I'm going to try and tame them and train them to do my gathering and some automated stuff for my crops when I start building crops up. These are a couple of books that I kept just because I wasn't sure what they do. And I got a Pied Piper rat flute. So that will be good when I get some rats tamed. I'm getting some of these mystery eggs from primitive mobs. When you right click them on the ground, they just make a little temporary pet that apparently follows you around. I don't think it was doing any damage. I didn't play around with it much. I made like a festive creeper, so a little baby red creeper followed me around for a little while. So when I get more of those, we will hold on to them. I'm not quite sure what these are doing yet. I'm not sure why you'd want a scroll of soulbound unless it actually works on armor. And then, yeah, so I'll probably, as I get more stuff in here, I'll decide if I want it or not, or if I want to add it to trash. But the bottom line is, I think we are sort of ready for Cursed Earth now. I think if I'd have had Cursed Earth on from the start, I would have been a little bit overwhelmed by all the drops. So it's actually probably a good thing that I had to wait a while to get. Let's get away from those guys. Zoom. It's probably a good thing that I had to wait a while to get Cursed Earth. Gives me a chance to get my mob farm storage system somewhat underway. Anyway, it's late and I'm babbling and starting to stammer and repeat myself. So bottom line is, let's call it an episode. Great progress was made. We've got a mob farm. Now all we need is a Witherbone and a Drop of Evil. You can buy a Drop of Evil for 500 coins, but I think probably next episode what I'm going to do is I'm going to build a nether portal and pop into the nether real quick, see how bad it is, see if we can snag a Witherbone, or maybe even a Wither spawner, depending on if there are any over there, and then we'll come back and turn that to Cursed Earth and get really ridiculous with our mob drops. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye.